Hi everyone, today I'm going to do for you a tag video. I was tagged by my friend Tommy. This is an 80s tag. There's only 5 questions. It's going to be short and sweet. I'm going to list Tommy's channel below. For those of you who have not watched him, you're just missing out. Please go watch him. I know you will really, I was going to say like, but you will love him. He is, I don't know, I love him. I love you, Tommy. And thanks for tagging me. This is a fun video. He tagged me like a week ago or 10 days ago, and I'm sorry it's taken me so long, but it's been so dark and dreary here. I couldn't get a video. But I've told you guys it snowed here, so now it's just so like bright, and yeah, so today I can do this. Okay, the 80s, you know, yes, oh my gosh, I love the 80s. In 1980, I was 25 years old. So that is like my favorite decade, from 25 to 35. Yeah, that was a good decade. Question number 1, what is your favorite 80s movie? And my favorite movies of the 80s back then and today were like Urban Cowboy, John Travolta, you know, and Debra Messing. I love that movie. I think that came out, that might have came out in the 70s. I don't know. I love that movie. I think it might have came out in the late 70s. I lived in Seattle until 79, until like the fall of 79. And so I try to think if I saw a movie in Seattle or if I saw it after I lived here. Because in Seattle, we went to the movies a lot. And we lived close to a cinema complex where there were several movies showing, which back then was kind of a unique thing. But now it's pretty common. Yeah, so Urban Cowboy might have come out in the 70s, but I love that movie. It was one of my favorite movies all through the 80s. I didn't get into the John Hughes films, the Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire, those kind of teenage ones. But I do love John Hughes films, and one of my favorite was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with John Candy and Steve Martin. I love that movie. I loved it then, and I love it now. Anyway, I love those kind of movies. One of the other ones that I love, I'm not sure if it came out in the 80s, I think it did, is Steel Magnolias. It was one of Julia Roberts' first movies. I love that movie. I watched it the other day. I just bawled my eyes out. Anyway, yeah, those are the kind of movies I liked. I didn't get into the teenage ones because I was in my 20s. Favorite 80s TV show, all through the 80s, it was all about must-see Primetime Thursday on NBC, and it was the Bill Cosby Show, the Friends shows, Seinfeld, all of those. I just loved them. As far as like 80 dramas, I don't really remember 80s dramas that I followed too much. I'm sure there were some. But, you know, I remember Dallas and Dynasty distinctly. Those were in the 70s. And they were on, Dallas was on Friday night. And every Friday, like, my friends and I, we would get ready to go out. We wouldn't go out until after we watched Dallas. So, I don't know about dramas, but yeah, those, I remember Thursday night was like a big deal for TV. We really enjoyed that one. Number 3 is 80s favorite music artist. Again, I'm kind of going back to the 70s, but my all-time favorite forever and ever is Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones, Rod Stewart, Elton John. Like, I love those guys. And they were just as relevant in the 80s as they were in the 70s and even the 60s for some of them. Rod Stewart and Rolling Stones, I guess, were in the 60s. Maybe Elton John was too, I don't know. Anyway, I love the classic rock, Eagles, you know, all of those. Those are just my favorites. Number 4 is favorite 80s look. You guys, I was back looking through old pictures of me in the 80s, and I'll tell you what I lived in. I lived in a denim skirt, about that tall, short denim skirt, and I either wore a tank top t-shirt or a sweatshirt with it. I would wear like leggings, tights is what we called them back then. My skirt, I would wear boots and a sweatshirt. I lived in those little skirts, and I probably had, I don't know, a dozen of them. I don't know, but almost every picture of me was in a little skirt. I had a navy blue sweatshirt with a Mickey Mouse on it. We went to Disney World on our honeymoon. We got married in 1984. So, yeah, that was what I lived in. The other thing I lived in that I know are coming back soon is stirrup pants. Oh my God. I love a good stirrup pant, and I think they should come back. I remember one time, also during the 80s, I was part of, it's called Lewiston Service League, and it's kind of like a junior league or a welfare league. It's kind of a lot of people thought it was a social thing, but it wasn't. It was a community, involved in the community and helping the community. We did fundraisers. We put on a style show every year that was well attended. People looked forward to it. And it was something that the only people who were part of it, they had to be asked by 2 or 3 members had to sign off on inviting this person to join. And once you joined, it was a 10-year commitment that for 10 years you would volunteer. There were, I think it was 300 hours a year we had to volunteer for different things. I would go to the Boys and Girls Club and make grilled cheese sandwiches after school. There were just a lot of different things. Meals on Wheels, that's how I got involved with Meals on Wheels. Anyway, so that was also a big part of the 80s for me. And I just, a month ago, went through, actually it was just before Thanksgiving, I went through all my clothes, and I had some of those old skirts. I'm not ever going to get in them again. And I took them all to the Goodwill. And I got rid of a lot of my sweatshirts, but I kept one, and I want to show you. This is one, and it's the Lewiston Service League logo. And it's 2 hands that, when they're held together, it makes a heart. And this one actually was for my husband. It's an extra large, but I'm glad that I kept it because now I can wear it. Back then I wore a small, but I would not be able to get into a small now. Real quick, I'm going to show you one of my wedding pictures. We'll cover up the one not to be named. I don't know. For some reason, I have a feeling if I showed his picture without asking, he would have a fit and fall in it. So I'm just not going to do that. But here's a picture of me on my wedding day with my 2 brothers, one on each side, giving me a kiss. You can see I really didn't have much makeup on. All I had on was a little bit of lipstick and some mascara. We got married at 10 o'clock in the morning. The night before, of course, we'd had our big rehearsal dinner and a big party. We had a very big wedding. And also, I didn't move in with my husband until the night before we got married. So the whole night before was spent moving me. Of course, I was all ready and packed, and I only lived a couple blocks from him. Not even 2 blocks. So it wasn't a big deal. It didn't really take that long, but yeah, the night before was spent moving me in with him. And then we got married at 10 o'clock in the morning, which a lot of our friends were upset about because it was so early. And we, yeah. Anyway, okay, here's another picture of me on my wedding day. And that's my whole family. My dad, my sister, my mom. That's my brother, my sister, my mom, me, my dad, and my little brother. So that's all of us. It was a good day. Anyway, that's my 80s dress for my wedding. It was just a classic 80s dress with the collar, the long sleeves, the lace. Yeah. Okay, so that was 80s favorite look. I think I've covered everything there. Number 5, favorite year from 1980 to 89. And it just hands down, I'm going to start crying. Oh my gosh, hands down 1985 and 1987. I'm sorry, I didn't know I was going to do this. Those are the years my kids were born. My son was born in 1985 and my daughter was born in 1987. You know, how do you beat a year like that? I'll never have years like those again. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Okay, I got to quit this because I got things to do, places to go, people to see. Thanks, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to tag a few people below that I would like to see do this, but I would love to see everybody do it. It's a fun, quick little tag, and it brought back a lot of memories. And I want to thank you, Tommy. Thank you for tagging me, and thanks for watching. Bye.